Welcome to the Divine Feminines podcast and channel. I'm your host, Steph Desar, and in today's episode, we are talking all about 2023. That's it. Happy New Year, happy 2023. Learn about the Astro Numerological meaning of 2023, what you can expect in terms of some of those astro shifts, what does 2023 mean in numbers, and how that can help you, the insight of it all. And also, the most important part is how to create the year of your dreams. And before I get started, we have a Manifest Your Destiny, which is the title of this episode as well, event on Sunday the 8th of January. And it's a 3-hour online session. So anywhere in the world that you're at, you can come and join us. And we've done it at a good time, hopefully, at 5 to 8 p.m. UK time, which would also be 12 to 3 p.m. EST. So if you're interested, click the link in the description box. You will receive an amazing experience of expansion through healing, through sound, through holy fire, reiki, energy healing. I will take you through deeper depth of what this 2023 means and astro movements, and how you can best navigate them, and then help you learn techniques and actually embed techniques in that session to alchemize your year ahead. You will also learn about unifying your mind, body, and soul, which is important when manifesting, because you need to manifest from a healthy alignment of mind, body, and soul. And we will learn more about consuming consciously. And for those that are based in the UK, you will receive tropical fruit compliments of Dreamfruit UK to your door. So shout out Dreamfruit UK, Connor, the founder of Dreamfruit UK, Oslem, the contemporary healer, our Reiki fire master, and Erica Owls, our sound, vibrational, and meditation expert as well. And then myself, Steph Desar. So we're all going to be taking you through that experience. Now, let's get into this episode. But before I say that, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. We are Divine Feminines on YouTube and all major podcast platforms. That's Apple, Spotify, Google, you name it. And why like and subscribe this channel? Because we've just got goodness. We've got positive vibes, how to become better, and how to just create the life that you've always wanted. It's all about growth and empowerment. And I'm here just sharing my experiences. It's really just a safe space. And for all those that have been with me up until this point, thank you so much. We have reached the top 10% of reach globally for Spotify on Wellbeing Podcasts. I'm so stoked about that. So grateful, and thank you to all of those new subscribers. So you're all welcome here, and I hope that you find some great content, whether that's balancing your masculine feminine energy, creating the life that you really want, healing. We've got all of that good stuff. Okay, so 2023, let's talk about the numerology of it first. 2023 deduces down to a number 7. You are looking at a number 7. I am, yours truly, a life path 7. So what does 7 mean? 7 is very much a spiritual number. Actually, it's interesting because when you think about the 7 wonders of the world, or the 7 continents, or the 7 chakras, it all seems quite 7, 7, 7, right? And 7 also carries with it mysticism, that esoteric, that deeper death, rebirth energy, a very powerful sort of higher energy and mysticism and esotericness to it, even if that isn't even a word. And with 7, it's a very interesting number because it's also an analytical number. I can definitely be testament to living out a life path 7. If those of you that know me through the podcast or through any of the content I share, I'm always transforming and rebirthing and sharing a lot of that through my content. And I'm very tapped in, tuned in to my higher self and into my intuition, but balancing that with the 3D and the 5D, which can be quite tricky for when you are going on spiritual awakening. So 7 is, it's also a very lucky number. It's a very powerful number. And this year being 2023, 7 is it's a universal year. So it's going to be a very powerful energy for us going into this. Now, if you think about this last year of 2022, it was a year 6. 6 was all about divine love, divine union, relationships. 6 is about relationships with yourself first and family and friends. So this year might have been a year where you were actually really connecting to yourself, starting to give yourself that self-love, also healing on relationships, maybe stepping away from other relationships and focusing. And we did have the Taurus and Scorpio axis of the eclipse, right? And that may have really been quite significant in terms of relationships, home life, how you perceive yourself, security, but also in terms of transformation with that Scorpio energy. So Taurus being, stability, also pleasure and all of that nice stuff, home and stability, but also what does that mean? And then also with the Scorpionic energy, the death and the rebirth. And that's going to be almost enhanced, really, because death and rebirth is kind of like your number 7. It's about going inward and real change, it's transformation. Now, our collective have gone through a lot over these last few years, and it's been quite an interesting several set of cycles that have played out. A lot of people are not where they used to be, whether that's in terms of like their actual family dynamics, their relationships, or how they see themselves. Many have been going through mass awakenings. So this year of 2023, for those that's watching, I think a lot of you probably are already on that spiritual journey. But if you aren't, or you're starting to embark on it, this is a year that's going to help really propel that forward. It's going to enhance a lot of that. A lot of our collective will be, so for those that maybe are still kind of new to the game of going inward and doing that self-transformation, because spirituality, this is why I'm not following any religion. I'm not, those were orders that were created. Those are man-made things, constitutions, ways of doing things, conformity. Spirituality allows you to be free. There is no teaching as such. You learn from yourself. You access that through your higher consciousness, and you discern what's right or wrong. You don't need to be a certain way or behave a certain way to be deemed following that way of life that's acceptable, because that's conforming. As long as you're not killing anyone and you're not doing anything that is bad or harmful, you have the power to create those beliefs and your own morals and have your own ethos that feels right to your soul, to your journey. So that is really much what spirituality is about. It's not about attaching to anything. It's about going within and becoming a better version of yourself all the time. And I could go on and on about that, but that's not the point here. The point is that the number 7 will allow you to do more of that. Whether you're following a religion or not, it's going to ask you to do that, to really transform. And it's going to push you a bit in that direction. So if you're already on that path, know that it's only going to help you a bit along. Now, I know too well that when you are doing it, it can be uncomfortable, guys. Nothing that asks for change is easy, but is it worth it? Of course it is. I am the epitome of that. I am the constant representation of death and rebirth and transformation. And I'm enjoying my life and enjoying my journey, and it's a beautiful thing. So I encourage you to not stray away from it, because the longer you do, the more it pushes you. So also with the energy of 2023, those that have been sort of like holding back will be pushed, will be kind of, nudged and kicked and a little bit shoved in that direction. Think about tarot and the Tower cards coming in, or the Death card coming in. Sometimes that seems quite sudden, but it does need to happen to clear away. Death rebirth is about clearing away what no longer is good, and to allow the new to come in, because it's for your highest good. So actually, when we think about the number 7 as well in astrology, so interestingly, 7, I said, is mysticism. It's going within. It's also analytical. It's also reviewing. So this is maybe a time where you may, want to self-review as much as you do that inward work. You will self-review and ask yourself, does this resonate with me anymore? These beliefs, I actually might want to do things a bit different. And this is a great energy to be able to do that. 7 in astrology, the house 7, which is really interesting because I'm recording this right now and it's Capricorn season, and my Capricorn is in house 7, and Mercury is in retrograde in Capricorn, and very much is emanating a lot of the house 7 aspects, which I find very interesting, but it's in Capricorn. I'm going to come back to that in a minute. Mercury in retrograde, we're going to talk about that. House 7 in astrology is all about relationships, romantic, friendships, one-on-one relationships, business partnerships, even frenemies, right? So this 7 is also going to be an opportunity to not just give to yourself and the relationship with yourself. So there is a continuation from last year in sort of that number 6 energy, but there will be a continuation to the relationship with yourself as you go within and you understand yourself. And even through that, how you're connecting with others and clearing out to have more healthier dynamics, healthier relationships, whether that's your current relationship or love relationship transforming, or you're starting a new journey with someone, or it's family, or it's friends, or it could even be work, because we work. If you think about it, you spend most of your life working, so you're spending a lot of time with certain individuals, and some of those relationships are quite integral in your day-to-day life. So having healthy dynamics there and giving, but it's almost like giving flowers to others whilst being that bouquet yourself. So this feeling and energy of curiosity and compassion at the same time, which is really beautiful. Now, I hope that gives you a good vibe about this year 7. 7's also lucky, when you follow that path of the inward journey and the death rebirth, and you allow yourself to transform, so many blessings come. And let me just tell you, so many blessings come. It's not easy to do, but when you pluck up that courage to start going, you know what, I'm going to take that leap of faith. I am going to surrender. I'm going to move in a different direction, or allow my path to kind of unfold in a way that I never used to because I was trying to control things. That is powerful, and you are getting rewarded for that work. Blessings will come through, and it will come through in the most unexpected and most magnificent of ways. So know that it's actually a really, really cool moment when you do that. It's just, it can be a little bit tough. Now, for those of you that are already on the journey, been doing a lot of that work, right? Because I know some of you vets are there. Doesn't make you any better than anyone else. No one's better than anyone else, but you might just be more used to and more accustomed to that. So you'll go a bit more deeper. You might even start to tap into more spiritual gifts and realize the gifts of your psyche and, your intuition. And so those gifts of yours, whether it's like clairaudience, clairvoyance, clairsentience, they might start speaking to you. You might start to get more visualizations. Dreams might start to play more of a role for you. Something very interesting. Astrologically, Saturn is making a big move from Aquarius into Pisces. And the last time that happened was 30 years ago. That was around 1994 to 1996. Do you remember then? For those that are old enough, I remember then, and I'm like, wow, I was a little girl, but that was an interesting time. I actually recalled some significant moments in those years. But that move to Saturn into Pisces, and that's going to happen in March 7th to be exact, and then it will be stationed there. Will be bringing about a very much needed going within, intuition, Pisces energy, and also the karmic element of Saturn will play a role for us to really hone in on what we need to be understanding from within. So there's a lot of this energy of really connection with self, and that is needed for this collective to vibrate higher, for this collective to heal. Because in order to vibrate higher, we need to heal, and we need to release and let go of the past and let go of limiting beliefs, wounds, and all of that stuff. So then we are in a better position to have an open heart chakra, to have a more healthier way of being and connecting with others. And that will help 7th house, one-on-one relationships, and all of it then will transcend around our interactions with each other and create a more healthier dynamic and community. Now, we are currently in 2 retrogrades. We've got Mars in retrograde in Gemini, and then now we've entered Mercury retrograde in Capricorn. Now, first of all, Mars retrograde in Gemini is also a way to get things moving quite quickly as well. Gemini is all about the planet of communication. So it is quite an interesting opportunity to have better communication, to use the lines of communication, creativity to help bolster Mars in this retrograde, in this space. But it can also make things quite frustrating. Communications, interactions, you can get peed off and hacked off by the smallest little things. So it's all about taking a bit of a rest, being very careful with communications, being very meticulous about what you do and how you're doing it and where you're giving your energy. And then that's even more enhanced with Mercury going into retrograde right now in Capricorn. And it's interesting because we've had a shadow period for the last couple of weeks. And I sometimes think that the shadow is more of the challenge in some instances. I personally have seen that. Not challenge, I'm not seeing it as in a challenging way. It's almost like things are surfacing for you to kind of look at. Now, retrogrades are given bad reps. Like they've been told to be really, oh my God, everything's going to fall apart. Your ex is coming back. It's going to be terrible. You're going to do this. Your phone's going to get broken, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's not a negative thing. And you really need to understand that, guys. Actually, it being in Capricorn and conjunct Capricorn into Venus, this is beautiful energy if you only allow it to be. And the way that you can allow it to be beautiful energy is by taking a bit of a rest, taking it a bit easy, making sure that you, I like to call it all the R's, you relax, you rejuvenate, you restore, you recalibrate, you reevaluate, you reassess, you review. And in that moment, it's a great time to just take a step back. And so I know it's the new year and you want to just go, but use this time, use the Mercury in retrograde to allow you to just review and get yourself ready. Okay, what is it that I need to clear out? And it's an energy of, what is it that I need to finish up? So you may have started some stuff in 2022. This is a good time to kind of get some of those, clear some of those things out. Like a couple of things on the to-do list, things that you said you wanted to do. Look at those things. Do you still need to do them? Is it going to actually be relevant for my 23? Yes, because it's connected to one of those intentions or goals. Okay, fine. Then look at that. Get it finished. Rather than trying to start new stuff. This is not the time to be starting new things. Not right this moment. Right? You can have the intentions and all of that good stuff, but once we hit January the 18th, then you'll have the energy to propel forward and you'll be given that kind of gusto and impetus to just slingshot out of it. So use this moment. Now, yes, you have to be aware that little things might come to piss you off, to hack you off, to annoy you, and Mars in retrograde through Gemini will also double up on that. So little things like, you know, if you guys know I'm vegan, I've had a few challenges of being given some weird food and I just had to grin and bear it rather than just making up a big shout, like kicking off. What's the point? Like, I'm used to that. You know, I go to some places and they're not very much astute to what plant-based lifestyle is. They're not that accustomed to it, and that's fine. I have patience with it. So this is a time to practice even more patience. You're going to also feel maybe that communications are not clear, or that you might need to say things more succinctly, coherently, meticulously. So be mindful of your own communications. And when you're writing messages and things like that, just take time. This is a great time to really enhance the communication you have with others, to really enhance the way that you deliver a communication, the way you interpret it. So don't read too fast. Take time to understand, process, and then, you know, interact. It's a really good time to refine on these communication skills. Actually, I think that's really what this is about, personally. Now, the interesting part of Capricorn and Venus conjunct, this aspect of love, and I mentioned number 7 being that the one-on-one relationships. This is a great time for removing all of the old karma of old relationships. So whether you're in a relationship, in a union, in a romantic dynamic, or you're single, whatever is coming to the surface around the past, whether that's to do with your current partner or past partners, this is a great time to alleviate all of that baggage. And interestingly, I'll share something with you guys, because, I do like to be open and give a little bit of me, like, authentically, is that I actually started to experience it in the shadow period. So some things from the past started coming up. They weren't that bad though. They weren't that uncomfortable. I mean, I'm consciously always mindful about what it is that I need to work on. And there were just a couple of things, and I was like, oh, and I knew what it was straight away. I allowed like it to surface. I felt it. I understood it, and I was able to explore it and really sit with it. And now I just feel like it's gone. So whether that's you're doing it with yourself or you have to talk about it with a partner, you'll know. And this is a great time to have better communication with your partner. You may feel that it might feel a little bit heavy. If you're feeling heaviness with your partner, or you're feeling it's a little bit challenging, it's probably because there's something that needs to be sort of shed from your dynamic. And whether that's something you need to talk about and let go, or you need to approach things differently. But take time, be patient with your partner. You may feel that this is a time where you're being, challenged in the way that you're trying to express yourself. But this energy is actually trying to help you, because by letting all of this sort of surface and disintegrate, because when you let things surface, they come up to the surface. They don't go back down. Because if you let them come to the surface, if you allow them to come to the surface and you go, oh, I see you. Okay, I'm understanding you. I'm evaluating you. Then it disintegrates. It kind of evaporates into the air. That's my visualization on it. Once things surface, they are ready to be released. If you're not allowing them to surface though, or you're kind of trying to push them away, they're only going to kind of bite you in your butt. And we've also got a play of Saturn coming through in Capricorn, because Saturn rules Capricorn. So that is the planet of karma. So, if you have had some things that you've done that are not so great in the past, or whatever to do with relationships, or whatever it is, maybe not in relationships, but the past, this retrograde will bring some of that stuff up, or unfinished business that you've not really looked at, that you're kind of holding back, whether that's something that you need to release because it's holding you back, it's your self-talk, or it's the way that you're showing up or being truthful to yourself. There's some of that, but also the Capricorn is the energy of authority. It's the energy of serious institutions, it's structure, it's organizations. So authority figures like schools, institutions, legal institutions, work, bosses. You may have communications coming in there. You may notice things are coming up to be cleared there, whether there's sort of things that are coming up to the surface to be dissolved, or, new agreements that are on their way. But on the way to them, certain things need to happen. You're getting contacted by bosses, school teachers, for your kids or for yourself, or other authority figures. This can be happening at this time. Also a way to kind of balance out some of that. So anything that needs to be addressed or looked at. And that is going to allow the room for post Mercury retrograde for things to really flourish. So if it's love, really going to bring in some really great healing energy for current relationships, and for those relationships to ascend to the next level, especially if you're doing that joint work with your partner and you're committed to the work on yourself. And if it's just the early days and maybe you've just met someone, or you haven't even met someone, but this will bring in that potential partner, or even just accelerate some of that movement post Mercury retrograde for the formulation of what is a brand new relationship. So very exciting times, very. And with all astrology and numerology, there's like the pros and the cons, right? Like there's, if you are navigating in the right direction, you understand what's around you, you're taking ownership, then you can really ride the wave. Like I always say with Mercury retrograde, if you're committed to like really creating a very good vibration from the get-go every morning, because yes, things happen, but you're committed to that, you will navigate this well. If you're committed to spending time with yourself, giving time to yourself, giving that self-compassion, self-love moment, you will do well during this time. It's not any different from any other time. It's just you need that routine. You need that consistency because it's going to help you. So for those of you that do have that routine and consistency, you're gonna find this to be fine. I really do. And for those that maybe don't have it as much, it's just an opportunity to bring more of that in. And this pays off because if you can stick with that for the longer term, it will help you. And all of these astrological movements, remember that they do this for our own good. It's always for our highest good. So it's powerful. It really is. And interesting times when we think about, okay, the rest of the year. I'm not going to go into loads of it. So if you attend the event, I will talk more to it. But we also have eclipse seasons, and they are continuing from the axis of Scorpio and Taurus. Again, Scorpio, big Scorpionic energy. It's the 7. So lots of transformations and death and rebirth. And things may be shifting massively in the home. Whether you're moving home or the dynamics of home are different or what you deem security, a lot of that stability and home life and even the romance and the self-love and pleasure of things can transform a lot. And so if you're riding the wave in the right direction, trying to focus more on you and filling your cup, because that's what this year's about. It's about filling that cup of yours. I've had a cup, anyway. So it's all about filling your cup even more this year. Like if that was the one thing I could say about what this year's about, you fill that cup, you will be fine. You will be fine. You will have a great year. Now, how to manifest the best year ahead? Well, like I'm not going to be able to go into all of the details because in the event that's why we're doing a 3-hour event, because we are creating the expansion and allowing for some healing, some beautiful healing through sound, through Reiki, and through meditation, and then some conscious consumption of some beautiful high vibrational fruits. And then we're alchemizing at the same time. We're building this vision boards. What I'll say to you is, if this doesn't feel to you that this is like a new year, if you're like, do you know what, I don't really feel this is a new year, and to many, it might not. For me, I'll be honest with you, I felt like Lionsgate was a new year for me. Like it was one of the biggest portals that I experienced. I thought like, wow. But generally speaking, the new year in astrological terms is in Aries season. So that's, March into April. It's springtime. So that might resonate more for you. So don't force it if it doesn't, but you can still use this as a way to cycle through the old and into the new. So I'm going to give you a few tips of what I think is going to be valuable. What I definitely recommend is take a step back and make sure you assess this last year that you've had, 2022. What are you grateful for? Think about every month, if you can, and you can say what you're grateful for in terms of every single month of the year. And if you can't, then I recommend doing that for when you get to 2023 and you're every month, write like a gratitude list, maybe every week, every month, and keep it so that when you get to the end of the year, it's a beautiful thing. And obviously the energy of the act of gratitude and being in the state of gratitude only creates and amplifies and magnetizes more enhancements to your life, right? As long as you've got the space, it'll be enhanced more. It's not more, it's not about more. It's not about getting more in life. It's about getting a more enhanced experience, a more refined and even more personalized and aligned experience, right? So definitely take a step back and look at this last year and ask yourself, what is it that, that you're grateful for? And then also, I want you to say to yourself, what am I proud of in terms of give yourself credit. You've gone through a whole year. Now, sometimes I think we're really harsh on ourselves. It's like, oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. I should have done this. Get your head out of the clouds on that one, right? There might be some things you can wrap up now. Yeah, sure, great. Do it in this Mercury retrograde. But some of it might not be possible. So don't get too caught up on it and go, to yourself, what is it that I've done this year that actually I've never done before, or I thought was going to be really hard, but I got through it. Whatever it is, it could be to do with work, it could be a personal venture, it could be navigating challenging times with family, could have been, quite drastic stuff that you've had to deal with, or could have just been doing something in a different way, walking away from people, leaving a relationship, learning a new language, or going out there to network with, make new friends, like whatever that is incremental to something that you've not experienced before, or it's just different for you, and you know that it's made a positive impact, and you were chuffed at the time, re-celebrate that. Please, 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 please give yourself that credit. And then once you've done all of that, I think that's a really great vibration to be in. And then allow yourself to really think about the things that you want for 2023. And now, when I say this, it's like the new moon. Definitely go into your heart space and really sit with that. It would be really nice to do a meditation. If you're interested of just doing some nice meditations, you can just go and use the binaural beats on YouTube on frequencies that are like 888 hertz frequency, abundance, prosperity, even just frequencies like 444, and asking for cleansing and aura cleansing, positive energy type binaural beats, instrumentals. Really beautiful to have. You can kind of meditate and zone out to that, clear your space. Definitely a great time to clear everything, release anything you don't need. It's a bit of that like new moon energy, right? When we're just old moon, full moon to new moon energy, purging and then creating space for calling in new. So when you're looking at your intentions for the year, or it could just be the intentions for the next 3 months, whatever those wishes are, make sure that they are aligned to who you are, and that they're coming from a place of love. They're coming from your heart space. So, like, please don't be sitting there going, I want more money and I want a car and I want this, because that's all material, guys. So I want you to really be, and you can have those things, don't get me wrong, but really, really try to unpack that and go, okay, maybe you want to get more abundance. I'm sure you do. But how? And what do you want to do in order to get it? Like, actually helping others, and I help a lot of people, I make a lot of money, and I'm supported by the universe. That kind of energy allows you to expand there and call that in. Now, what are the services that I need to deliver on, or what is my business going to look like, or how do I want to propel my business forward, and how does that help the collective? I always say that when we're doing our goals and our intentions, it's good to be selfish when we're filling our own cup, but when we're calling in more for ourselves, or enhancements and manifesting, let's manifest from a place where it doesn't just help us, it helps us to help others. Okay? So I'm going to love and leave you there. I can't share more because I'll be going on and on for ages, but I hope that this episode helps. I hope that, you get a good vibe for 2023. You understand some of those astro placements right now. The astrology is positive for us right now. It is a little bit slow moving. It's about resting. Really enjoy this moment to take rest. A lot of you may be off and maybe not going into work on the first week of Jan. If you're not, enjoy that. And if you are, don't see it as a bad thing. Just make sure you take time for yourself. It's a great time to start new routines and everything, but be easy on yourself. Look at maybe things that you may have committed to already and that you haven't finished off, or you want to refine before starting new things. This is that energy. And then be ready. Just be a reminder of 18th of Jan. That is when the energy will lift and things will move quite fast, and you'll notice that. I've noticed many a times when Mercury goes back direct, it is just boom, boom, boom. And actually, when it says retrograde, when they say retrograde, let me just say this to you. It's actually interesting because it's not like it's going backwards. It's a bit of an optic illusion. It's actually just going really slow, and the Earth is speeding up. So, because Mercury's going really slow. I used to say Mercury. I was about to say that. I did. And in that moment, if you think about it, it's going really slow. It's actually asking us to slow down and be more vigilant and just more with ourselves and just more mindful. So this is a really supportive energy to help us be better, communicate better, and reevaluate and reassess and review before we start calling in the new things that we want to create in the 2023. So it's almost like the new year, if you want to talk about the new 2023 year, is kind of really going to kick off in a couple of weeks' time once Mercury goes direct. But this is a great time to start preparing and start and just finish off. Start preparing, but finishing off anything that you need to finish off on. Okay, so I hope that helped you. I really just freestyled this whole thing. I was basically wanting to just share something valuable that you could use for New Year's and into the month of January. And with that being said, I hope it has been valuable. Mwah, 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 mwah. Peace, light, love, and abundance. Have the best year ahead. You will see me and hear from me more because there's a lot more coming from Divine Feminines, and I'm excited to share it with you in 23. Bye, my loves. Bye, Soul Tribe.